Hogan a lead side or trail side dominant player? Well, there's no question, but I'm going to show you how to understand the difference because there's absolutely massive difference in the two. So first of all, you're going to notice Hogan's extremely weak right hand grip, and this is going to require him to do some stuff with his hands to help square the club face as he's coming down. But the one thing I really want to draw your attention to, because I'm going to compare this to a thrower or a trail side pattern in just a moment, is how much further his head moves back to where it started at address. Note that it's basically right back on that line or even slightly in front of where he started. Now, this is important in a lead side dominant swing, as Hogan talked about. He talked about pulling with that lead side or feeling like this was, attached to the wall back behind him, and then he's going to snap that back. This, you want to be on your lead side, your lead foot, so that your left hip can pivot, and that's what Hogan did. This is why his head is back to where it started, and in a lead side pattern, this is what you want to do. Now, let's compare that to Jake Knapp. Now, this camera angle moves, but I want to draw your attention. So basically, his head is right on that tree trunk in the background there. Oops. So now watch what happens in a trail side pattern. It's very different. A trail side pattern is basically a baseball swing, hitting a golf ball, more or less. So now you can see his head has moved way off that tree trunk. I'm going to close this. So now you can see this is the tree trunk where he started. And now the question is, does he get back to it? In a trail side pattern swing, no, you don't. You can see his head's gone way down and he's staying way back and trying to get further back behind it. Look how far back his head was on that red line, and look where it is now. That is a massive difference and a huge differentiator between a lead side and trail side pattern, but it's not the only thing. Look at his left wrist. Is he trying to bow and supinate that left wrist? No, he's trying to move it into an extension position, and that's what you do in a baseball swing. Now, let me show you a better angle so this is easier to see. Watch his lead wrist. Now, part of this is your grip strength. If you have a really weak grip, you'll find golfers who are throwers and trail side pattern players are going to bow that wrist more. But you're going to see in Jake's case, he's trying to move into extension because you're applying pressure, back pressure on the handle to get the handle to move back, the top of the handle, to get the club head to move forward. It's a very, very different pattern. So if you're trying to combine things, you don't understand lead side versus trail side pattern, you're going to confuse yourself and get into all sorts of trying to mixing parts that don't mix together. You can clearly see Jake is not moving his wrist into flexion or bowing that wrist like Hogan talked about.